he's become far more aggressive. That's probably to the dismay of the White House. It's created a total headache for Joe Biden, and we've seen reports of how this is deeply bothering him to see his son's problems in the limelight. It sounds like there are reports out there that he gets frustrated talking about it.
Sure.
It's visibly affecting him. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out next year when Hunter could potentially go to trial in these cases, because it would become even more public than it already is.
Welcome to Reporter's Notebook, where we talk to the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the stories breaking on their beats. I'm Jim Antle, and I'm joined today by Department of Justice reporter Ashley Oliver. Ashley, Hunter Biden is always getting himself into various legal jams. His situation has arguably deteriorated recently, but he's fighting back. They have a new aggressive public defense. What sort of things are they doing?
Yeah, so he's taken on this new strategy of coming out from hiding. We know for years people would say, "Where's Hunter?" We now see him a lot. He's in the PR world. He's kind of leaned into his past struggles with drug addiction, and I think that resonates with a lot of people. And it's probably his way of trying to quell headlines that have just been incessant since he's been indicted twice now. In addition to that, he's also on the legal front. He's filing lawsuits against people that he feels have wronged him. So people like the IRS whistleblowers, he says that they have improperly disclosed his tax information. The Garrett Ziegler, he was a former Trump aide. He is probably the most prolific publisher of Hunter Biden's laptop. So, the data on the laptop, Hunter Biden claims he was unauthorized to access it, and he claims that it was manipulated. So these are lawsuits that he is proactively filing now against people who he claims have wronged him. Additionally, on the legal front, he's also filing a slate of motions to dismiss in one of his cases. It hasn't gotten to that point in the other case, but the gun case, which came first, he's filed several motions to dismiss on numerous grounds in that case. So he's become far more aggressive. That's probably to the dismay of the White House. It's created a total headache for Joe Biden, and we've seen reports of how this is deeply bothering him to see his son's problems in the limelight. It sounds like there are reports out there that he gets frustrated talking about it.
Sure.
It's visibly affecting him. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out next year when Hunter could potentially go to trial in these cases, because it would become even more public than it already is.
So another factor in what they're arguing, at least Hunter's team and Hunter himself increasingly, is the criticism of Hunter Biden had always been that he benefited from political connections and that he was treated more leniently because of his political connections. But now they're starting to say, actually, Hunter's being treated more harshly for political reasons.
Yeah, I would say Hunter's defense is that. Yeah,
right.
His lawyer has gone on TV a few times now and said that if he were an average American, he would not be
if he were
so
Hunter
aggressive.
Smith.
If he was Hunter
Oliver.
Hunter Oliver. Hunter Antle's not a very common name.
Hunter Antle.
If he were just your average citizen, he would not be. The tax charges against him would not be so serious, is what his lawyers have argued. They failed to mention that the average American doesn't rake in $7 million over a few years from foreign countries and stuff. So there is that aspect of it. But yeah, that is part of their defense. Some of their other defenses, they say that these prosecutions are vindictive and selective. That's part of their motion to dismiss the case. They say that there's been so much pressure on the Justice Department, first from the Trump administration when the Hunter investigation first started several years ago, and now from congressional Republicans who are pursuing, investigating if there was malfeasance in the Justice Department's investigation of Hunter, if he received special treatment. They say that pressure has affected the prosecution and the prosecutorial decisions in that case. So now Hunter's lawyers are arguing that has actually forced the prosecutors to aggressively charge him when they previously were not going to charge him at all. So they're saying that this was an unfair prosecution for a number of political reasons.
If Hunter Antle has $7 million, I hope I'm on his Christmas list. So that'd be good.
I hope you're you're on the list somewhere.
So there's been a controversy about Justice Department allegedly snooping on congressional aides. What's the latest development in terms of oversight on that?
Yeah, so on that front, there were reports back as early as 2018 and then again in 2021 that the Justice Department under Trump had actually gone after congressional aides who were investigating the Russia collusion, that whole entire investigation, Crossfire Hurricane. There were a number of investigators within Congress looking into how the Justice Department was handling that. At the time, the DOJ seized some communications records from these aides and also from members of Congress. I think Adam Schiff was one, Eric Swalwell. They were targets of that. So it was both Republicans and Democrats that were being targeted.
Right.
And the DOJ, they have recently said in a letter to Chairman Jim Jordan of the Judiciary Committee that all of these subpoenas they would date back to 2017 and 2018, were in regard to one media leak, which was the Washington Post story about Carter Page. They say they sent all these subpoenas out because they were trying to get to the bottom of who leaked classified information. Right. Now we've learned a few, other people, it was a more expansive subpoena batch than we realized. Someone named Jason Foster, he actually is an attorney for whistleblowers. His name is well known among the people that, cover the whistleblower that whole saga that's going on right now with the IRS ones and others in Congress, FBI whistleblowers. So Jason Foster actually had his communication subpoenaed by the DOJ through Google, and Google just notified him like 5 years after the fact that they had obtained his communication information. It's metadata that they obtain, not substance of messages, but it's still private information. And so now he wants to understand, why they did, if that crossed, separation of powers lines. And so congressional Republicans are looking into that. That said, there is an ongoing Inspector General investigation into all of these subpoenas that had been issued years ago. So now we await that, and we think that it's going to surface the final report from the Inspector General sometime in the beginning of next year, the first quarter of next year, roughly, is what we expect. So that'll be huge when we see what justifications the DOJ had for crossing into the legislative branch and seizing their communications.
And whether they have a New Year's resolution to stop doing that or not.
I wonder. They say they have changed their policies, and they say that frequently, so maybe they have.
Maybe they have. Thank you, Ashley.
Yes, thank you.
You can read Ashley and the rest of our investigation team's coverage at washingtonexaminer.com.